big box from WinWing. What's inside? The new Skywalker pedals, of course. It's their first set of pedals, and to anticipate a bit, I'd say it's pretty good. Full metal construction, pre-dampened mechanics, and tool-free control mode selection. This means you can quickly switch between fixed wing, helicopter and vehicle mode. Let's go! Inside the box we find the dampener, the corresponding mounts, some feet for the base, a USB cable and all the tools and screws we need. The small bag is for the dampener. And last but not least, there's a WinWing branded anti-slip mat. Below the first layer of cushioning are the main components of the set. Both of the metal pedals are stored separately and well secured. The base also sits so tightly squeezed within the padding, I had to remove it off camera. Wait a second, here we go. The first impression is very good. It's a massive powder-coated metal construction. In the middle, above the ball bearings, sits the removable centering spring. On the front you can spot the locking mechanism. The set weighs 6.6 kilograms in total. The main axis can be dampened up to a resistance of 20 kilograms. Travel range is 18 centimeters. Let's mount the feet and test it on the floor for desktop use first. Attaching them is a bit fiddly. Also, while moving the base, the front plate came off. It's not overly firmly glued on. Maybe it's better it comes off instead of ripping in half. This one's on me though. I grabbed the plate to move the base around. In practice later, this never was a problem, neither on the floor nor on the sim rig. On each foot is an anti-slip pad. Don't forget to remove the protective film. Tightening the screws is a bit finicky as I mentioned. I suggest to rather use an extended screwdriver instead of the included Allen key. Next up are the pedals. They just slide into their respective attachment point and are secured with a nut. After attaching both sides, they are connected to the hall sensors and spring mechanisms on the back of the pedal set. These two screws on the sides adjust the resistance of each pedal. It reacts quite sensitive, just loosen them by a quarter or half turn at max and then check the outcome. Next up is the dampener. The taller bracket goes on the back, the smaller one on the front. The dampener sits on both brackets and is secured by two screws. On its top you can see the adjustment wheel. Just turn it to increase or decrease the dampening. Construction completed, let's test them out. Here's our mat. It goes on the floor of course. Maybe WinWing shouldn't have gone with a glossy surface, it's a total dust magnet. Combined with the feet, the pedals are almost glued in place. I didn't have them slide at all. As you can see, the mechanism moves super smooth. The only problem I had was that the dampener was slightly loose. That's why the sticker is crumpled. By the way, it doesn't look like that out of the box. I had to tighten this screw, which solved the problem. So if your set makes these noises, you know what to do. Once you plug it in, the logo lights up in green. It will go dark again if the pedals aren't connected or can't be detected. The sides of the sensor housings light up as well. I adjusted the toe brakes to 1.6 kilograms of activation force. They move nice and smooth. The set instantly pops up within the software and all axes are displayed correctly. There's a button press once you reach the end point of each axis. If you have any centering issues or return issues like you can see here, run a firmware update and recalibrate the pedals, problem solved. Taxiing the plane, in this case a 109 with toe brakes, and operating the rudder is a breeze. All axes are buffered at their endpoints so you don't get sharp, uncomfortable impacts. Now, before I tell you more about the pedals' internals and operation, let's move them over to my next level racing sim rig, where they will stay for the foreseeable future. I've tried to mount them on the center of the footrest. That's where I encountered a showstopper. The bolts I have are too short. Bummer. A 5-minute ride to a local store solves the problem though. The new bolts fit, but I was only able to attach the rear screws because the front holes don't match anywhere. And I don't have matching screws for the side rails. Should have checked that beforehand as well, right? Anyways, since the pedals are mounted in an angled fashion, that should work for now. And it does. They blend nicely into the setup. While taxiing my 109, I tried to lock the rudder axis, which increased comfort a lot. I then just unlocked it before takeoff. The pedal sensors are contactless of course. The only plastic parts on the whole set are the front plate, which is partly transparent because of the lighting, and the housings of the sensors. As already mentioned, there are 3 operation modes. You already saw 2 of them, fixed wing and locked. The third one is for rotary wing operation. Just remove the spring, increase dampening, and there you go. The pedals won't center anymore and will stay in place wherever you move them. Just reattach the spring and decrease dampening to return to fixed wing mode. And before I forget, the pedals themselves can be tilted forward and back into 3 different positions. So far, the set is great. Here's what I think could be improved though. The feet are fiddly to install. I guess there could be a more convenient construction. Also, my pedals arrived with differing toe brake resistance on each side, which I had to adjust with the screws on the sensor housing as shown earlier. A tool-free solution with resistance indicators would be an improvement here. I also think a slightly softer spring should be included in the set. The resistance of the current one gets quite noticeable once you reach the last quarter of each axis. The glossy anti-slip mat does its job very well, but attracts dust like a nuclear-powered vacuum cleaner. On the plus side is the incredibly sturdy construction, the convenient and tool-free mode switching, and the smooth and quiet operation of the whole set. It's 315 euros with the dampener and 278 without. That's very good value and an incredible debut. Happy Heinz Award all the way! If you're unsure which Hote system to buy to accompany your pedals, check out my overview video here. It probably answers a lot of your questions and will help you make an informed purchase decision. Thanks for watching, fly safe, and see you soon!